Okay, so what I need to do now is check fuel pressure. And I've got a gauge for that. I've had it for a long time. I got it from a Porsche dealership in Nashville that was going out of business. So it's a proper setup. Let's take a look at that. So I reviewed this, watched a couple of videos. You take your gauge set. This is the hose coming from the warm-up valve, right? Goes all the way to the back of the engine. I got it attached to one leg of this hose, and then the other end goes to the fitting where that hose ends up at the top of the fuel distributor. Now this should give me system pressure, which should be about 70 psi or 5 bar, in between 4.5 and 5 bar, which this gauge actually has both, which is super handy. So next thing I need to do is jump the fuel pump relay, pull the relay out, put a jumper in. So let's take a look at that. So the fuel pump relay is the second on the top row. So you can see it there with the script on the top. Let me pull that out and we'll put the jumper in. All right, between pins 30 and 87, you can hear the pump running. I hear the injectors pumping also, and it's leaking fuel like a sieve. Let's see if we got anything. Got nothing. All right, let me fix all that. All right, I got most of the leaks fixed, and I'm only seeing about 37 psi from the warm-up regulators, building a little bit more. So could have a warm-up valve, could have a problem there. Okay, I got the fuel line back on for the warm-up valve, back to the fuel distributor. I think what I'm going to try now is jump the DME relay again and actually try to start it, because I was hearing the injectors seemed to be squirting a lot more fuel. I mean, I could hear them much more than when I was cranking the car with the DME relay in. So could be a problem with the DME relay, I guess. One of the things I need to be cautious of is, though, if you jump the relay without the engine running, you're basically dumping fuel into the cylinders. So I really don't want to get a whole bunch of fuel in that brand new oil, although there's probably already a little pool in there. Okay, jumping the fuel pump relay didn't really change the starting pattern. I mean, it would fire briefly and then die. So I need to confirm fuel is getting through the fuel distributor to the injectors. So I got all the injectors out and stuffed into a glass container. Of course, you got to pull the snorkel to get to the number 3 injector. And let me jump the fuel pump relay, and it should start to fill up that glass container with fuel coming out of the injectors. Well, that would explain it. I'm not getting any fuel out of the injectors, not a drop. Even when I push down on the fuel distributor, it should be squirting. What I'm hearing is that it's that frequency valve. That's what's making all the noise. So I think it's the warm-up valve. I don't think it's creating any system pressure at all. I need to read some more about that. Okay, I'm back to checking pressures again because I made an error. So what is important after reading in Haynes is that on your tester, you have a valve, right, on the line from the fuel line coming from the warm-up valve. So when that's open and it's going back to the fuel distributor, that is control pressure. However, when you close that valve, if it'll close, yeah, you are going to get system pressure because the fuel distributor is going to be pushing basically your pump pressure all the way back up here. So you're going to bypass, basically you're bypassing the warm-up valve and you should get the pressure related to your input from your pumps, I would think. So I'm going to jump the relay again and check those two pressures. Oh, another important thing is you want to take off the connector on the warm-up valve. Now that's going to be a whole lot of fun because it's way down in there. I can probably get it off, but getting it back on is going to suck. See if I can even get a picture of it. It's buried under the coil. Oh, the fun. Okay. With the fuel tester closed, so that's coming directly. That would be system pressure. Is like 75. Then close the valve, and I have fluctuating. Now it's consistent at 38. Yeah, maybe more like 35. So let me check those numbers. Also, with a warm-up valve disconnected, I'm getting spray from the injectors. So, with the injectors now pushing fluid, because I will assume it's because the warm-up valve is disconnected from the electrical connector. You can barely see it there in the middle of the frame. I have it pulled out just enough where it's not making contact. So to do that, to disconnect that, I had to take this pipe off, which goes in here on all these vacuum hoses. So I'm going to put everything back together. I'm going to leave the warm-up valve disconnected and try to start it. And who knows what will happen. All right, that was a bit of a thrash. I mean, I got it to stay running, if only briefly. It's getting better. Two things going on, I think. Aside from the warm-up valve being suspect, the fuel distributor may be suspect as well. I noticed when I did get the injectors to fire that two of them were not spraying very well. So I need to quit screwing around and go ahead and replace those. I know I replaced two of them. I need to replace the other two original ones and, you know, check it again, trigger it, look at the flow from them. I think I found a new fuel distributor. No, not fuel distributor. I'm sorry, warm-up valve. So I'm going to probably go ahead and purchase that because I just don't know that there's anything else I can do to the one that's in there that'll make it behave properly. And also, I think I'll rebuild the fuel distributor. I saw a couple of videos online, and it's not that hard. You just got to pay attention to what you're doing. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I won't do all that at once. Let me, whatever shows up first, I'll replace and see if it improves, whether it be the warm-up valve or the injectors, and we'll just have to go from there. Sorry, still not running, enough to tune, that's for sure.